Hi friends, this is Lokesh. Welcome to Test and Tutorials Point. Today we are going to discussing about V model or V and V model or verification and validation model. Any name it is the same because it's a small like verification and validation model is the one name, but we can able to call V model also and V model also we are able to call, but both the same things. See, previous waterfall model, there are some small drawback, right? In that drawback, to overcome, they are started for testing using this verification validation. And also this testing start from requirement stage itself. This is the overcome of that waterfall model, because waterfall model, what will happen? One stage in output, the next stage is inputs, right? Which is the one first stage output, what are the things we gather, that went for next stage input, that is come means you have to complete first one complete stage, then only have to move to second stage, otherwise it will not allow to do that, right? For that, to overcome that one, they introduce a verification and validation model. Here, what will happen? They started testing itself a requirement stage. When they start a requirement, the parallelly testing also it will start. All the activities go on the downwards direction, and one point in time it start moving in the upper direction and reuse the test documentation for the testing process and from the V shape. Hence, it is known as a V model. Everything it will go for down, top to down, and one stage it is coming, then it will go for up. And what are the coming here, that all the things verification, what all we are doing, that is validation, functional testing, integration, system testing, user acceptance. These are the BRS, CRS documentation, and high level, low level design coding, white box testing. Once these are a parallel execution, it will goes every time. That's why it is the V model session. That's why they call it as a V model. And it will start when they are starting for the system requirement be right, and then only we can able to start our testing. That's why it's a V model. And when we go for this model, right, for the larger and complex application, a larger means n number of modules and complex specific a lot of dependency between the modules. A big size of projects we can able to propose this V model. And also it is used to long term project. Whenever we use the long term projects, right, that time we can able to prefer this one. Here requirements, we can able to say the first stage is requirements. In the requirement, what will happen? We are going to collect the like a BA team, business analyst team. They are going to they collect the documentation like a requirement. What all the things he need? That is called SRS, BRS, SRS, and FS. These things they will call. And SRS is a customer requirement specification document or business requirement specification document. For SRS details will move written in the simple business English language by BA analyst. It's a simple language. He will create one specific documentation, Word documentation or Excel, what kind of thing they prefer based upon that. Here they will mention that customer secure entry and optional creation emails, able to see mails, unwanted content deletes. These things they can able to written in that document. SRS or FS is nothing but a software requirement specification document or functional specification document. All these are converted into a details document which can be understood by the developers. This is for the system requirement specification and functional requirement specification depends on for developer perspective they'll create. In the top one, what will have in the requirement? First, they'll create the business requirement specification, what exactly the customer needed. Those things. And SRS is basically system requirement specification, right? That is based upon the developer perspective. They will create one documentation. Here it will present login model. In the login model, what all the things are presented? Username accept the functional specification how many letters, characters accept in the name, password, and password, how many characters and symbols and those things, right? Everything it is presented in that particular documentation. Once that one is all completed, they will start functional requirement. In this functional requirement, what will happen in details it is presented means the all the modules, components, and functional specification and the proper flow, which means that it should be in the sequence order. Everything it is sequence order, and also all modules and component and functional, what are the things we need to do the functionality wise, and everything it is presented in that particular documentation. The requirement should be written in a simple language, which is English, understood by everyone, because it's not a source code. Just they created a one documentation. In this documentation they will present, they will keep that all the developers can understand, even business peoples or customer he can able to, and tester he can able to, like that they will create one simple language with the flow, the sequence order. V and V model process. Entry V model exit in two phases. The complete review process is done in the verification phase. The whole testing process is done under validation phase. This one I told you, verification, all the documentation section, it is presented in the verification. What all the tester is doing everything, right? That all present in validation phase. In stage one, it will start from collecting from the customer requirement specification and documentation from the client by the BA analyst. More for the testing engineer will also check. And here what will happen, the review the SRS based on documented incorrect requirement, missing requirements, and conflicts in requirements. Those things it will check in the review process time. And also parallelly it will start for acceptance documentation, right? First it will start a customer requirement, and the same time user acceptance test cases it will start, and they're going to write for acceptance test documentation. Test engineer team review the SRS customer requirement specification document and found any bug or defects. They will send it to the development team for fixing the bugs. After fixing the bugs, the development team updates the SRS document and concurrently developing the SRS documentations. And stage two, based upon that, right? Now stage two is system requirement and system testing. It will start here, right? Based upon that, once it is complete SRS document, they will start system CRS document, and they will start for SRS documentation. It's sent for the testing team. They will review and process, and we are going to start high level design in this stage two. Here also we are going to see like reviewing the SRS document against SRS document against CRS documentation. Each CSR document is transferred to SRS document. SRS is nothing but system requirement specification, and it is not transferred properly to the SRS. Write the system test documentation. Once the testing team reviews every detail of the SRS document and CRS is converted in currently in the system requirement, we will moving onwards to the next stage. That is stage 3. Here, what will happen? High level design is completed by the developers and start for the low level design for the application. In this meantime, tester will check in the following: high level design, review high level design, and write integration testing documentation. Here once they completed the high level design, right, testing team they will start for integration testing, and they are going to write the test cases. And fourth stage, what will happen, based upon once it is done high level design, the developer write coding and developing application testing will do parallelly, and review the low in testing team what they can able to do, right? They will review low level design and write the functional test documentation. Here also in the fifth stage, what will happen? After completion of the coding part, the developer will perform one round of unit testing. Unit testing means white box testing. Once it completed, it will go for unit testing. Here what will happen, they will check the piece of code whether it is working or properly or not, whether they got done as per the documentation or not. They will test everything. Once after performing unit testing, the application is sent to the testing team where they perform multiple testing such as functional testing and integration testing and system testing and acceptance testing. Parallelly we can able to do all the things, but once it's a coding, everything is coming to us, we are ready. Without wasting a time, we are test everything, and we can able to raise the defect, and we can able to send back to the developer. They will fix, and we can able to retest and give the sign off for the particular project. Like this 5 steps we need to follow. Here advantage of this V model, right? Review existing and every phase that that's why we may get a less number of bugs in the application. Means before starting, once we started the customer requirement, there only we started for acceptance criteria. The parallel it is going, that's why we can able to reduce a number of defects. The V model provides a parallel deliverables, which implicitly in that two teams can work together. Like here, development and testing team work parallelly. Means previous like spiral, not spiral, spiral and waterfall models are not going parallelly, right? The same way, it is not developers and testers, they are not sitting and they are not doing parallel testing and development. And here V model provide the parallel development and testing. This model helps to deliver very robust and stable product, and the test engineer have more knowledge about the product because of testing is involved. Test document can be reused. Disadvantage of this stage, right? Here what will happen? Disadvantage is expensive process, because here like a testing team also they involve every stage. That's why it is, maybe it is a bit expensive comparing to others. It is a time consuming process, because if the requirements changes happen, we need to change every text documentation. Means every time we need to change. Once the completion, then before that, after completion of the document, in case customer needed to modify the documentation, then we need to sit and do that all the documentation again. We need to do more documentation work because of the test cases and all other documentation. The V model is not suitable for object oriented projects. We cannot go back and replace the functionality once the application is in testing phase. Testing phase time, functionality wise, we can not able to change. These are the disadvantages presented in the V model. If you like this video, please like my video and please subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.